we both agree that showing up every day is an essential for growing on social media and growing your personal brand. You give a lot of tips and resources. What's a tip or resource that you would recommend for someone that's attempting to grow their personal brand? So like, what are you executing on right now that has established your growth and is going to continue your growth going forward?
Gotcha. Okay. For me, it was understanding the landscape first and foremost. Looking at, people's content that you actually admire or that, I actually admired. First, figure out what worked. And then after that, once you kind of see like what works, what's kind of like the common thread with everybody, then it's like, all right, where is a space that I can kind of interject myself at? And so, like I said, I was putting out content, and it was okay. It was doing all right. And then I just started to kind of like tweak my content ever so often. Like every couple of videos, I like, all right, how can I do this better? I didn't really like talking in front of a camera, even though I do it fairly often. But I was like, if I can tell a story a little bit better, then I'll do that. And so I was like, all right, let me start doing voiceovers. The voiceovers started to, do pretty good for me. And it's very sustainable. I'm very big in like creating sustainable content where I don't really have to think about much. I can just kind of do my own thing. So I've like, all right, so me telling the story of, how I'm actually, going for my goal is very sustainable. So let me just kind of show the behind the scenes of building a content agency. And this was actually even before I kind of started to tag my videos with that opening intro of I'm Rashad, I'm 37, I'm building a multi-million-dollar content agency. So I was kind of putting the pieces together, and then I saw a video from, it's a creator named Zach Kravitz. He's in California. He's actually building a bag brand. And so he said in one of his videos that he's like, hey, I'm Zach, I'm 30, and I'm building a bag brand. Follow along on my journey. And I'm like, I like that. Yeah. I really like that. Yeah. And so I was like, what if I kind of tweak that and kind of showcase that myself? And so once I started to do that, I knew it was working because, everybody that I would come across, like just, if I'm out at a party, if I'm out at a friend's gathering, if I'm at church, people will come to me and be like, hey, this Rashad, he's 37, he's building a multi-million-dollar content agency. And so
I love it.
Yeah, so it was kind of crazy. Like, and it would be like the most random people ever will come up to me and say that. So I'm like, I might be onto something. And so those are and so even with that, another thing that I feel like kind of stood out about that whole thing was I'm a person that's not afraid of being transparent. Like I did a video around Christmas time where like creators know like around like the holidays is when things start to like really slow up. And my daughter is 1, and last year like my wife had to, get all the Christmas toys, all the Christmas presents, because by the time Christmas came, I was kind of tapped out of money. And so I did a video about that, and then it did pretty good on like Instagram and, Instagram and TikTok. And so from that point, I was like, that's kind of the place that I need to be at. Like, if I'm going to showcase this journey, then I also need to showcase like the very real upside as well as the downside of trying to build this company. Instead of just showcasing, the nice cars or the house or the vacations, I need to show like, all right, my bank account is negative $100 right now. What do I need to do to kind of get that back right? Or I haven't been able to kind of hang out with my friends because I work all the time, and how that's, taking a toll on me personally, or me and my wife haven't had date night in 2 or 3 months, and this is the toll that is taken on our marriage. So I feel like that was the kind of moment or the shift where it all came together. Like, all right, so I need to, as an older creative, I even stand out. Like, I'm 37. Most of the creators now feel like they're 12 years old. So I feel like I feel like a much older person in the space. So I feel like even just kind of giving my story from that vantage point is something that's slightly different as well. So I just try to find all the things that made me stand out while also doing the things that just work across the board. And that's kind of like helped me out a lot.